All right, so I'm gonna start off this evening with, are you medicating traumas with distractions? So 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that you have two options for your traumas. You can heal them or you can medicate them. So I should have made a clear distinction between the two and shown each path will give you a radically different outcome. So healing your traumas will bring you to more of an enjoyable life, and not healing your traumas will bring you to a more painful life. Now, there's sayings like doing the hard work gives you an easy life, and doing the easy work gives you a hard life. Do the hard work of healing now so that you can have an easier life later. But two of the hurdles that a lot of people face when they're healing is, first is feeling the pains associated with the memory, and then secondary, doing the work to heal. So not just peeking at the moment that it happened and looking away. You need to focus on the moment and then do the work while you're focusing on the moment. And the generality of just healing doesn't really work. You need to go to where the moment of the experience is, because that's where it is in your neurology or in your brain. So the greatest distraction I've found is the way that we're actually doing this call, which is social media. Not all social media is bad, as you probably know. A good amount of it can be useful and educational. And if you use it productively, you can stay in contact with your loved ones. You can spread your message. And if you're determined to, you can use it to help build a business. But just the mindless scrolling through your apps throughout the day is completely counterproductive to your success and definitely to your healing. So I think social media is the greatest distraction right now, and you becoming the greatest version of you. And why heal yourself when you can just take a quick shot of dopamine in your body from watching countless videos, silently checking in on people that you know, and then maybe some people that you wish you were connected to. So I've been an addict of social media. That's why this is kind of written is more about me. And I know a lot of people also kind of hooked on social media. So what I've put in place is two alarms. One goes off at 9, which I have about a 50% success rate of getting off at that time. Then I set up another one just recently for 9:05. This is just to remind me of my commitments to minimizing my use of social media and to give my nervous system a break before I sleep so that I can rest better. Oftentimes in the day when I catch myself wasting time on my phone, I'll just throw my phone outside of my reach. So it's not as accessible as that if it was just sitting right here. So the habit of just picking up my phone, looking at it and wasting life doesn't happen. So instead of me just picking up my phone again, usually looking for something that's not important or urgent. So it's more of just a distraction. I have to actually think about, like, where's my phone? Do I want to go get it? Typically, I throw it over there. But very rarely do I ever need it. And another thing that I do to keep off my phone when I'm not at work is I just silence my phone. So then I don't hear my phone ring. I don't hear any messages or any notifications from any apps. But enough about my struggles. Social media allows you to escape your physical world and go into what would be considered a fantasy world, a world where you don't have to focus on your problems. And if you're not feeling healthy and strong, you watch someone who's fit and happy. Or you could watch someone who actually has greater disabilities than you. If your relationships are not good, you can watch some romance. You can find people more miserable than you. If you hate your job, you can find people who love doing their job. You can apply for jobs, and then you can find videos of people that hate their job more than you. And if all you can afford is just the entertainment on your phone, you can watch influencers travel to places, or you can find people that are poorer than you to try to make yourself feel better. So the idea is either you try to find someone that's doing better or someone who's doing worse. Either way, you try to separate yourself from reality, which is what your physical world is. So all the time that you're wasting on your phone trying to medicate yourself with dopamine and get away from your daily stresses and unhealed experiences are times you could be healing. So social media, just like street drugs and alcohol, they're just as addictive. And if you've been you may have misdiagnosed your symptoms, thinking that it's someone else's fault, and you misprescribed the remedy, which is distraction. So you may be no less addicted than a crackhead at a gas station begging for change, but instead of begging for change, you're begging for someone to listen to you, someone to pay attention. So you'll bounce around in your apps looking for anyone who's sent you a message, someone who's maybe commented on a post of yours, or someone who's just liked your post. So this gives you a little bump of dopamine and confirms that you are important. Someone saw you and that you've been heard. So have you noticed that even though we're only a few seconds from access to virtually everyone we know, we're not connected emotionally? And I think a big part of this is that we've just lost the art of communication. Even more, we mostly communicate on surface level if there's any communication that happens. I don't mean were there words exchanged between two people. I mean, was the meaning of the words understood between the people? Said another way, was anybody listening effectively, or was this an attempted communication lost? So my quotes for this week talk both about communication. The first is from an article, Is Anybody Listening? This was published in Forbes in 1950 by a guy named William White. He started off the quote with, the great enemy of communication we find is the illusion of it. And then he goes on later to say that, and not by listening have we failed to concede the immense complexity of our society, and thus the great gaps between ourselves and those with whom we seek understanding. And then there's a guy by the name of George Bernard Shaw, said pretty much all that in one sentence. He said that the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that has taken place. So why did I segue from social media to communication, and what the hell does this have to do with healing? Well, a lot of the traumas you need to heal are from experiences you shared with other people, or maybe you didn't share with other people because they were absent. It's not the time that you fell off your bike because you hit a tree root, and most likely you don't need to heal from that. But if there was someone who made fun of you because you fell, that experience may need to still be healed. And if you don't heal from that moment, you're going to be controlled to some level from that experience. Not controlled in as you don't want to ride a bike anymore. It's more about, are you willing to be seen in public or at social events? So you hide from getting attention. You don't speak up when you think you have something important to say. And at a minimum, you may put yourself down for not sharing your perspective, which erodes your confidence more. Or you may feel guilty for not standing up for someone who needed support or encouragement. And that could continue the domino effect of your self-worth depreciating and then having more experiences to heal. But since a large percentage of experiences you need to heal include other people, you're going to need to talk to the person who you're accusing of hurting you. Now, this is going to be the hard work that I mentioned towards the first part of this talk. Well, why don't people do the hard work is because they've not had the conversations. That's how I know they haven't done the hard work. Or maybe you've tried to have these conversations, but it's increased the suffering of the complexity of your relationship. So you've chosen to live with it because it's easier. But how has life gotten easier? Because you've chosen to keep it to yourself. Now, have you become more successful because you've chosen the earlier option or the easier option? So I get that some people refuse to talk to you about your experiences and that you want to heal. And I also get that people may be refusing to communicate at all with you. They may have shut you out of their life. For those that are still open to communication, you need to learn to communicate at a higher level. So higher level you communicate, the more people are willing to listen. Now, communication at a high level is not limited to having a bigger vocabulary and knowing what to say. Being able to listen empathetically and speaking from a perspective of empathy will open up conversations and start the revealing of the truth between you and them. Now, the truth doesn't mean facts. Facts are what happen and how they happen. Truth is your perspective of all of it. It's how you perceived it. I promise you that your experiences are unique to only you. You may have similar experiences as someone else, but like a fingerprint, there's only one. So what was something that you experienced that you've not opened your awareness about? Or did you create additional things in the experience that weren't there? So is your memory what really happened, or did you add things to your memory to make sure you're right, that you're innocent, and maybe that you're a victim? I would bet that you created additional parts of your experience that confirm your identity and that you're a victim. So as long as you stay as a victim, you're going to be challenged with healing, because as a victim, you take on the experience happened to you and you're helpless to heal without the other person's apology. So I'm going to turn off the recording now so that then we can go practice listening and help each other heal.